Hi, it's Sue here from Inspired Messages and welcome to July. So here we are at the beginning of July and a lot is going on. And I always say this, if you are looking where I'm looking, but even so, I think people are aware that the whole world is in a state of flux and the planets do reflect that. And on the 1st today, we have Mars squaring Pluto, which is not an easy aspect to work through. Now, on a personal level, it's about not being manipulated and keeping calm. And if somebody is trying to get at you, it's coming away from that situation and trying to keep calm and not getting into an argument. But on the world stage, this is probably going to be massive because obviously Mars is the god of war, Pluto is the planet of destruction, and these two are in a square, and a square is a challenge. So as I said, there's a lot of tension hanging in the air, and those people who are sensitive will be able to pick up on that energy. And also next to Mars we have Eris, and she is the sister of Mars, and she's a fighter. She will go and fight for freedom, and that again is what's happening around the world. Around the world is standing up and saying, I'm not going to, we're not going to be put down. And so there's a lot of freedom fighting going on. So this is an explosive energy, and these energies actually pop up all through the month of July. So, a bit of dodging. So look out for that on the world stage. You will see it in alternative media because people will be reporting on it. For yourself, I think it's important to stay in peace, stay calm. Our mission is to stay in the heart and to help others as we move through this massive time of change that we find ourselves in. So on the 2nd, it's a bit easier. We've got Mercury, which is the planet of communication, trining Saturn, and this brings clear thinking, and plans and ideas will come easy with that aspect, and that's actually the next day, so it will help out what's going on. And the card this is the first card that came up, which is the Hierophant or the Pope, and I was going to read out what it said in my little book, but basically the Hierophant or the Pope is a bit like a counsellor, and so I think this kind of goes with the fact that we should be helping people and staying in the heart. He's got his hand on his heart, you can see that, and he has a group of people at his feet. So if we look at what it says in the book, and I would just want you to take what you want from it. I'm not saying that this is right or wrong. I just thought that it was quite interesting. So the Hierophant complements the High Priestess. While she opens the path to the inner subjective world, he opens it to the outer objective world. As the representatives of the divine on earth who remind us to listen to our conscience and uphold our moral responsibilities. And he holds his right hand with the palm facing his heart, I mentioned that, signifying that some things are hidden, and we certainly know that, while the Maltese cross symbolises the force that draws everything toward the centre, and that's to do with the origin of all things. And on his head is a three-tiered crown representing sovereignty over physical, mental and divine realms, and the triple cross in his left hand repeats the symbolism of three, indicating the Trinity. and behind him the two pillars depict respectively sacrifice and purity, two of the qualities required by seekers of the truth. Now, we are in an information war. We are looking for the truth, and we are all about sovereignty. This spiritual war that we find ourselves in is about us being sovereign, and it is about us finding the truth. So I thought it was interesting that this card came up. And as I say, you know, take what you want from it, and think to yourself, you know, does it mean anything? Does it mean anything to you? So on the 9th, we're going to have the Sun sextiling Uranus. Now, Uranus is obviously we have Uranian transits a lot, and having this is a good aspect because it's a sextile. So it brings independence and freedom, and it's also about adapting to new ways of living, and also the groups of people that are getting together. And I'm talking about that more and more. And if you take my newsletter, I always put the new groups that are forming for us to get involved with, and I will be talking about the People's Health Alliance, which is very exciting, in my newsletter. So if you want my newsletter, then just email me or go to my website astrologysue.com to the contact page, and I will send you the newsletter, and it will be under the life purpose heading in that newsletter. Now, this newsletter doesn't go on and on and on. It basically has the transits for the first half of the month, and it has interpretation for the for the new moon and the full moon for that month. And it also, under my life purpose, I always put information that might be useful to you. Sometimes it's about health, and I include all sorts of bits and bobs that I want to share that will make your life better. So, and you can join that, and you don't have to stay with it. There's no strings attached. I just want to share the information that I have found and I think is useful. Okay, so obviously because of that Sun sextiling Uranus, the Chariot came up, and now the Chariot comes up a lot in my readings every month, and I feel this is about victory. It's about focus. It's about steering a steady course, keeping on course, not being knocked off it, staying true to who you are, standing in your own truth. All that kind of thing goes with this card. And this is the number 7, and we're actually in the 7th month. And it was also in the outcome of the reading. So I feel this is an important card again for us to have this month. I think it's what it's saying is we've got to keep on doing it and not give in, although we might feel a bit down about, you know, life at the moment, because it all seems doom and gloom. I actually don't watch mainstream media at all. I only watch positive media, which alternative media, if you want to call it that, and those are some of the links that I put on my newsletter. So after that, on the 13th, we have the full supermoon in Capricorn, and that is opposite the Sun in Cancer. It's always an opposition. There's the moon there and the Sun there, and obviously we will still be in the sign of Cancer. So the Sun being in Cancer is about home, family, nurturing, caring, being there for other people less fortunate. This is all really important. And the other side of the coin, with the moon in Capricorn, is about our reputation, how we are seen by those people around us, our friends, our neighbours, our family. And it's also about the direction we need to go, or we should be moving towards. Okay, and it's quite emotional. I mean, full moons are always emotional. We know we have more problems with petty crime, more intake for, the police and the hospitals. Usually there are, it's a very emotive time. And so, we need to, again, to keep calm and stay in our, in our peaceful, loving heart, and stay so that we can help other people. That's the most important thing, really. So also involved with this full moon is Mercury and Uranus and Neptune. So they're all linked to this full moon, this super moon. And Neptune is always about vision, and having a new vision is important. And we can use that Neptune to our advantage by creating the kind of world that we want. We have, if you have a vision of what you want and you go for it and you stick to it, then you usually get what you want. And obviously it's coupled with Mercury, which is about new ideas that are maybe unusual, because we've got Uranus in the mix as well. And this might be to do with new, unusual ways of living in a community, because Uranus is to do with the collective and the community. And the sun will bring light into the dark, which is always what happens. And then I had the sun card, which I thought was quite interesting. And as I say, the sun, we need the sun to live, and it always brings light into the darkness, which is really positive. And this card actually comes up again twice more in the spread. So I feel like, if this is a triple emphasis, that I have to say that the sun is important. So on the 14th, we've got Venus squaring squaring Neptune. A square is not easy, but in this case it can be very creative and artistic, and I think masterpieces are likely. If you're creative yourself, it would be really good to do something artistic on the 14th. The only other thing I want to say is Venus does connect to money, so don't get involved with any dubious money schemes on the 14th or around the 14th, and just use this aspect for creativity. So on the 17th, we've got Mercury trine Neptune. So this is really good, much better. So this is the day on the 17th. You can visualize how we want our world to be, and you can use creative visualization and the law of attraction. So creating, meditating, thinking about how you want your world to be peaceful, and everybody in harmony, and no lack of anything, no illnesses. That's what we're wanting to create, and using the law of attraction as well. The creative visualization is part of the law of attraction. And if you don't know much about the law of attraction, I do have a free ebook on my website, and all you do is email me and I will send it to you. Okay, and on the 17th, this Mercury trine Neptune actually connects to the Justice card, and you might wonder why that is. Well, this card is about having a vision again. So this Mercury trining Neptune connects to this Justice card, and this is our gift. And it restores balance, and it brings accountability, and it gives us a clear vision for the future. So it's a really good card to have. Okay, so on the 23rd, we're going to have Mercury trining Jupiter. So that's great because Jupiter is about expansion and Mercury is about ideas and communication. And so it's going to give us an expansion of ideas, brings meaning really and purpose to the world, which is great. And you can also, obviously, all of these aspects you can use personally. So it would be a really good day to do some study, perhaps, or do some writing. That would be really good as well. And this connects to the 9, which is the Hermit, and he's seeking knowledge and is in deep contemplation, is to do with deep contemplation. And he's got a lantern on his, you can see it on his, he's just holding that lantern, and that lantern is about shining his light on the world, and that's what we're hoping to do. So bringing this knowledge, bringing the wisdom and bringing the light to the world. But I was going to read you something about the Hermit as well, because I thought it was quite interesting as well. So the Hermit is number 9 in the tarot sequence, and the last card with a single number. It marks the final part of the first half of the tarot journey before we reach number 10, a return to 1 and 0, representing unity. The Hermit alludes to the solitary nature of the traveller on the tarot quest. He walks alone through the night with only the light of his intuition, which is the lantern, and that's to guide him. And he wears a simple robe and carries a staff, as the trappings of the outer world cannot aid him. He also represents the steadfast courage and determination needed to continue on the journey as he trudges intently onwards. And some experts equate the Hermit with timeless wisdom, making the card another reminder that the truth of existence is to be found within ourselves, since we are each part of that universal truth. And I think that's really wise words. So carrying on the 28th of July, we're going to have a new moon in the sign of Leo. Now, Leo is very creative. It's also to do with taking a risk. It's also to do with romance. So creativity, romance, taking a risk. It's also connected with children as well. And so maybe it's connected to our inner child, because nobody gets away without having some kind of wound. And so that inner child really needs looking after, and it needs healing. And this is a new moon, okay? So it's maybe time, you know, when we decide we need to heal that inner wound, that inner child, because it stops us from moving forward. And that's just a thought that I'm bringing into this reading. So on top of that, that also obviously connects to the sun again, because Leo, the sun rules Leo. So we've got that card again. And this new moon actually trines Jupiter, which brings optimism and expansion. And that can only be good. So at a new moon, you can write your goals for the next month and sit in the moonlight, create a nice atmosphere, play some meditation music, meditate on what you want to create for that month, meditate on the kind of world that you want to live in, and then just leave it out to the ether to bring those things towards you. So this new moon in Leo is going to be quite expansive, and it should be joyful. This is not a negative new moon, so it's optimistic is what I'm saying. So right, on the 31st and the 1st of August, astrologers have been waiting for this conjunction of Mars and Uranus, And also it's actually a triple conjunction because it's actually going to involve the North Node. So we're going to have Mars, which obviously is about energy and drive and focus, but it is the god of war, okay, and it's going to be next to Uranus, and Uranus is about freedom, rebellion. It is the awakener as well. It's about groups of people. It's about doing things in a different way. It's about the collective. So there's a lot of things that can happen, and it's going to be at 18 degrees of Taurus, so it could be volatile. And you know, Uranus, as I've talked about before, you know, brings eruptions, so anything could happen. Rebellion, freedom. I mean, many people are trying to fight for the freedom of rights of man, and obviously because it's next to Mars, we need that Mars energy, but it, you know, it could go over the top. And the North Node is always the direction we are moving towards as a collective. And as it's in Taurus, you know, Taurus is connected to the earth and land. And so are we going to have some, I don't know, eruptions with volcanoes or earthquakes, or you know, tsunamis, or are we going to? I don't know, but it's a possibility because it's in that sign of Taurus. I'm hoping that more people will awake at that time around the world, and this card came up, which is number 20. This is the angel on the card is blowing his bugle to wake the people up below out of their programming, out of their patterns, out of their, you know, they're so boxed in with only being able to see one thing, and so this angel is blowing his bugle to try and wake these people up. And it really does go with this triple conjunction of Mars, Uranus and the North Node. So we will have to see kind of what happens, but I feel that you know, the Uranus is the awakener, and that's the card for that, really awakening people. So I'm hoping that it is about readjusting and breaking free for lots of people from their programming, and that they begin to realize what is actually happening on this planet. Okay, also on that day, which is nice, we've got the Sun trining Jupiter, which is great. And so we've got that card again, because that's the Sun, and it's trining Jupiter, which is about expansion and improvement and growth and living and acting in an ethically sustainable way. And again, I felt that I needed to read that card to you because it's I feel like it's come up 3 times, so there's something about it that we need to connect with. So just as the moon is the deepest female aspect, the sun is the overt masculine principle, the creative element that impregnates the female to bring forth life. Without the union of male and female, there is only sterility and stagnation. Having received a glimpse of the female archetype in the moon, the traveller is now shown the male archetype of the sun. And in this card, the wall, not depicted in all decks, symbolises the boundary between sacred and profane space. But instead of guarding it, the 2 dogs are now transformed into naked innocence. A couple about to consummate the full union of male and female, and therefore about to fuse together the conscious with the unconscious and integrating them into one. I think this is really important because of what's going on at the moment. I know some of you will know what I'm talking about. I don't want to go into detail about it, but I think this is the key. I think the sun, we need the sun. It penetrates the dark, and that's what we need right now. We need the light, and we need to be positive, and we need to raise our vibration. So having said that, the affirmation is quite short, and I want you to put your hands on your heart and say this every morning. I am peace, I am love, I am sovereign. I am peace, I am love, I am sovereign. And also there's a couple of other things you can say. You can say blessings on me, and you can also say it's going to be a great day. So try that, see what kind of a day you have, be grateful, write your gratitude journal at the end of the day. If you have any questions, you know where I am, astrologysue.com, and have a great July. Enjoy the weather, get out in the garden, get out in nature. It's really, really good for us. Walk on the earth barefoot, be grounded, and I'll see you at the beginning of August. So bye for now. Bye bye.